All right, hey everyone, how's it going? This is Ray Weiss of Conflict Simulations LLC. You're looking at my office, I guess, where I design and play test games, and I just wanted to give a quick overview of three of our games that are currently on pre-order, so you can get an idea of what they look like and some interesting facts about them. So, this one that you're looking at now is The World Undone, East Prussia 1914. It's a system inspired by The Marne by the late John Young, and it has a similar sequence of play. So it's move, fight for each side. And unlike every other war game in existence, it allows you to reserve movement points from phase to phase. So if you want to, hold off 3 movement points, so you have an extra 3 movement points on the next phase, you can do that. Which I guess is a little joke for me because in every rule for every war game book ever, it always says that you can't transfer movement points from turn to turn. So that's one thing about that game. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. It has 2 CRTs, one for the Russians, one for the Germans. Right now, you're looking at 1870. This is a game that covers the Franco-Prussian War, and this is a unique system that I've designed called the Long Century Operations Series, LCOS. It focuses on leadership pretty strongly. It manages strength points sort of like a strategic level game would, but I guess you could say it's similar to GCACW, Great Campaigns of the American Civil War, but there's certain different little pieces for it. Like the French have approaching fire during combat. They have a special table for chasspot fire. The Germans basically have to spend less points in order to use artillery. The Germans are basically designed to be very strong, whereas the French have a lot of chrome and things that they can try and do to try and save their miserable situation. As you can see here, historically also the French kind of screwed themselves. But one neat thing about this game is that there's no CRT. And so, like, you would take if you were going to have 2 different forces fight, let's say, let's just say this guy with a 4 against, here's a 1. So if it was a 4-to-1, instead of looking at any kind of chart or CRT, you'd look at this combat ratio matrix. So if it was in clear terrain, the attacker would get a +2 DRM and the defender would get a -1. Both players would roll 2 6-sided dice, and the spread in between those results is a number that basically players have to lose a certain amount of LP. The player that loses has to lose more. It's a little difficult to explain quickly, but it's a neat little original game that I hope people will like. It's a conflict I'm very passionate about, so I'm pretty happy with that game. And finally, you're looking at 1968 Tet. This would be the historical setup after some arduous research. Or it wasn't that arduous. I guess I misunderstood several maps to understand that I thought that they had started the offenses from within Vietnam, but that isn't the case. This is one of our PCS games, which is the same series as 1950, 1995, and 1987. Units have a variable combat strength based on their unit quality rating, so that letter over there basically will dictate what combat strength a unit will end up with. So you'll pull random shit from a cup. So if we pulled it for this unit, the B, he would have a strength of 5. Although if I had pulled it out on the other side, he'd have a strength of 7. What happens is that units will basically find out their combat strengths once they're adjacent to each other. Adjacency allows units to support other units, and the Americans also have to manage their air assets to sort of make up for, sort of a manpower disadvantage, and they have higher movement costs for the terrain. and they only have the initiative on a couple turns. So that's a game with a bunch of unique challenges. And what I guess I like about it is that there's really no victory conditions for the Allies. They just have to prevent the Vietnamese from sort of screwing with their morale too much. And yeah, that's 3 games of ours that are on pre-order right now. Again, on the left is The World Undone, East Prussia 1914, 1870, the Franco-Prussian War, and 1968, the Tet Offensive, using the procedural combat series. Thanks for watching, and I hope something about this video makes you want to buy some games. Alright, have a good one.